Hey guys, thought I'd just do this real quickly before I head to work. And I don't know why I have my flash on, but that's my fault. But I wanted to just basically give my thoughts on the report, the news report going around that next year in 2019, ROH plans to book a show at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, that's right. ROH, Ring of Honor Wrestling, excuse me there. Was to book a show at MSG. But yeah, they want to book a show at Madison Square Garden. So here's my question to that. Even though they reserved the date to make it happen, how many of us out there right now legitimately think Ring of Honor is going to go right into the Garden Arena and have a show? How many of you think they're going to go right in the same venue, the same arena that WWE goes into for their shows? Well, here's the technicality. Madison Square Garden Ring of Honor may have booked and reserved a date, possibly in 2019. They haven't said when, as to when they're going to do a show or run a show, television taping, pay-per-view, what have you, over at MSG. But let's be honest, even if they do it, it's not going to be in the same venue. I'll put it this way, it's not going to be in the same facilities of Madison Square Garden that WWE holds their shows. No. What it's going to be is held within one of the side facilities. Because if I remember correctly, I wouldn't say several, but many years ago, about a little over a decade and a half ago, maybe 2 decades, 2.5 decades ago, or something like that. I can't remember when, but I read somewhere back in the early 90s that WCW tried to book Madison Square Garden, and they did. But from what I understand, they only performed in one of the outer facilities or inner facilities within the structure itself. In other words, just like a lot of these big hold on a sec. Mocha frappe. Finishing it off. But anyway, like a lot of these events, well, not events, but like several, if not, I wouldn't say many, but like several multi-purpose venues out there, arenas, stadiums, they always seem to have another venue, a smaller facility within them, like a little hall that they could hold, that will allow them to hold conferences, that will allow them to hold tiny conventions, stuff like that. So So what I'm saying is, the last time I heard of another wrestling promotion working Madison Square Garden, they were working in the, I guess, at the time, the adjunctioned or connected or conjoined or adjunctioned Paramount Theater within Madison Square Garden. They weren't in the actual garden part that WWE holds their events in. They were actually in an adjunctioned facility, basically a connected facility within the venue itself, which was some kind of a theater or something called the Paramount Theater. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but that's the best thing. That has always stuck out to me, because I read that somewhere in a magazine that a company, I saw it on television as being advertised, and I read it in a magazine for the results, and yeah, pretty much that was the last time any other company outside of WWE worked Madison Square Garden. The only catch is they had to book one of the facilities connected within Madison Square Garden. So even though Ring of Honor has booked Madison Square Garden, it doesn't mean they're going to, it doesn't mean they're going to work the actual Garden arena that WWE does. I think what's going to happen is they're going to be booked within them. They're going to be booked to have a show within MSG, but it's going to be in one of the one of the inner facilities, like maybe a hall, or maybe some kind of hall, or a theater, or a conference center. Something like you would see at the Newark Pavilion in Newark, California for big time wrestling. So honestly, I think that's what's gonna be. Honestly, I think that's what's gonna be the debut for ROH and MSG. That's how they're gonna debut. They're gonna be debuting within they're gonna hold an event within some kind of inner facility within the garden structure itself, but it won't be in the same garden portion of the venue that WWE does. So that's just my thoughts on ROH making a debut in MSG, and where I think they have the debut show there, and what portion of it. So let me know what you guys think though down below. I gotta get in and clock in for work, and I will talk to y'all later.